Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How is everybody tonight? I am doing fine. But this back here is, let me see if I can get rid of chat so you can see his beautiful face. Let me just hide combo chat real quick. This is Grumble, the Christmas gnome, and he will be here with me until Crimbus is over. It's Crimbus time. It's Christmas time. If you didn't know, it is. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves a festive Christmas decoration. This is mine. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. So Giga Gamer 7380. I respect you. I really do. You don't like politics. You don't like talking about it. You don't like hearing about it. And you come into my channel and talk about it all the time. I appreciate that. That's very nice. I respect you for that. So let's start off real quick with that. Kingdom Hearts. Never liked it. When we first got the announcement, right? I got an EGM magazine, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and on the front cover, it said Aerith lives. Aerith being the lovely lady from Final Fantasy VII who dies, famously. That's what she's famous for, dying. Then I was like, what could that mean? Is there some kind of sequel where they bring her back to life? That would be insane. So I tear open the magazine, and she's a character in Kingdom Hearts. And I said, what is Kingdom Hearts? And then EGM said, good question, Waldo, what is Kingdom Hearts? And then it told me it was some complicated mishmash of Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters. I care about half of those characters, not the Disney side. I don't really care for Disney. It's not my thing. I was an edgy young man in the 90s, and you didn't watch Disney cartoons. No. That was for babies. That was for children's. Grown-ass men watched hardcore stuff, you know? We listened to grunge. We listened to angry, violent music. We didn't sing Hakuna Matata. No. So I never was really attached to them. It was very performative, the place I grew up. So you had to not be a kid. So I didn't ever appreciate the Disney people. And then when the game did come out, I went and played it because I love Final Fantasy characters. Maybe there'll be some Final Fantasy VI characters in there. They're all awesome. Setzer was in there, and he was pretty cool. He's a cool guy, very emo. Then I think that was it for 6. I don't think I had any other ones. They had a couple of the 7 and 8 and 9 characters. I know Vivi showed up on time from 9, which is great. But then the story was nonsense. I dare you, Giga Gamer, to explain to me the plot of Kingdom Hearts. I don't think it has one. Hearts, heartless keys, keyblades, the shadows, the nobodies, the Xehanorts, and the misspelled names that it turns out. It doesn't make any sense. It's nonsense. It is incomprehensible mush, and it's bad. It's a bad story, and the people who love Kingdom Hearts will scream at me for saying so. Even though it's really, really, really bad. They like it because they'd never seen such a thing before. It's almost like first girlfriend energy, you know? If your very first RPG was Final Fantasy VII, it wasn't my first one, you love it beyond all of the things because you compare everything that comes afterward to it. It wasn't the first RPG to exist, but that was your first one, okay? So it was your first girlfriend, so you compare every other girlfriend after that to that first one. Kingdom Hearts, for a lot of kids at the time, it was their first story-based game with psychology and ideas and shit. And so they love it beyond all recognition. Anybody who was into RPGs, anybody who was into games, anybody who was into story-based things before then, it's just not that interesting. It's just drivel. It's just mush. I played the first one all the way through. Got the secret ending, got the best ending, beat Sephiroth on hard or whatever the hell, and it didn't make any sense. And I didn't understand it. I was like, what is it? Kingdom Hearts is light? What the fuck does that even mean? That's nonsense. That's gibberish, y'all. Then I went to Game FAQ's boards, the message boards on GameFAQs. Old people will remember game FAQs. You went into there and you talked about everything. You go to the Simpsons board and you just literally quote your favorite Simpsons quotes over and over again for eternity. It was early internet. This is 2002, 2003, somewhere in there. And they were all explaining the story. And they were explaining it to themselves, not just to me, but to each other, because it was incomprehensible mishmash of nothing. And because they didn't understand it, they all argued over semantic points about shadows and nobodies. What? And after they almost kind of had most of the pieces worked out, I would read what they had, and then it didn't make any sense. I thought that I was failing. I really did. I thought that I was the problem, that I didn't like this amazing, beautiful, gorgeous super game that is so deep that I can't grasp it. I was backward. I was too deep for the shallowness of this game. It's nothing. It's nonsense. It doesn't have a coherent storyline. And then the whole thing is retconned to make Kingdom Hearts Light and shirtless Mickey be the thing that has to be there. I don't understand what shirtless Mickey and Kingdom Hearts is Light means. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know what it does. But then they spent the next 2 or 3 games trying to make that make sense, and it only gets worse. Dream drop distance and some goofy thing on the GBA. It doesn't make any sense. It's all nonsense. I played the second one all the way through. No idea what was happening. No idea what was going on. No idea what any of the pieces would go together. The pieces don't fit together. None of it makes any sense. I'm sorry. So, no, I do not like Kingdom Hearts. And with that, dear Giga, I will continue on with the politics. So I appreciate you coming in for, even though you hate politics, it seems. I got the word politics right there in my name. It's in the channel name, and you hate it, but you're here all the time. So I like you. I love you. Thanks for coming in, boss. So what in the damn hell am I doing? It is Sunday night. Waldo, you don't usually stream on Sunday night, and that's true. Most of the time. I stream on Wednesday nights at this time, and then Saturday mornings. So it's the best times for me. But I was out all week on business, and then I took my old lady out to town over this past weekend because it was her birthday, so we went out. You'll never believe what we did. It was amazing. We rented a hotel room, right? And we just sat and watched Netflix the whole weekend. It was fantastic. There weren't any dogs. You can hear dogs making noise in the background right now. There weren't any kids there to bug us. It's the young people, the young viewers may not appreciate that, but you old folks that are watching the show, imagine that. Rent a hotel room for 2 nights and just sit and watch Netflix the whole time. Fantastic. Okay. Anyway, so that's where I was all week, and then during the weekend. So what I did while I was sitting around in between Netflix loading, I thought about the other FIFA prizes that we could give out to people. Since FIFA gave out that peace prize to Donald Trump, what other prizes are they going to take from the Nobel Committee? They're going to have to do their own version. I've got nominees and the winners for each of those normal categories that the Nobel Prize usually gives out. The Nobel Committee usually gives out. But we'll do that after some headlines. Look at a couple of headlines. Probably be a little bit of a short stream tonight. Check some current events. If you got an idea for what to talk about, tell me about it. I can Google it or hop into the Discord to tell me what to talk about. And I'm sorry, but it seems that the robot lady does not work tonight. I wish she did, because she's just not working over on Twitch. I've got all the program turned on. I've got it turned on, and it just doesn't work. And it gives me an error. What's the error say? The error says Google ENUS neutral to F female was not found for Waldo Politics. I don't know what that means, but I'll try and figure it out. I'm telling you, man, I don't change the buttons. I don't move anything around, but all of these live services, I have like a dozen live services to make this stream go work. And if any one of them changes just slightly, the whole thing falls apart. And that irritates the hell out of me. Why can't I have a machine? Why can't I have a program downloaded to my computer that reads the chat? I don't know. but I can't, apparently. That's not how the universe works anymore. It's not how the world works anymore, Waldo. You're too old. Downloading a program and installing it onto your hard drive. Everything needs to be in the cloud. Everything needs to be an online service. So I suspect that some online service of mine has failed, and I either need to pay for a subscription now for a thing that used to be free to get that voice. I don't know. I'll change it. I'll see if there's anything I can do. And then hopefully by this Wednesday, normal stream day, I'll have the robot lady back. But until then, no robots. I'm sorry. Let's look at the headlines. Let's look at headlines. What is going on? I know there was a big mass shooting over at Brown University. I have not looked into that. I do not know anything about it. So I apologize if that's the big thing that you want to talk about. I don't know anything about it. Window capture there. Bow. This was interesting when I saw it pop up. It was federal agents used chemical irritants on a crowd in Somali neighborhood in Minneapolis amid Trump crackdown. So they've shown up in Minneapolis to hurt the Somalis that Donnie really, really, really hates. He dislikes those people and he wants them harmed. Federal agents used chemical irritants to push through an angry crowd that blocked their vehicles as they checked identification of heavily Somali neighborhood in Minneapolis on Tuesday. So they're just spraying fools with the pepper spray. City Council member Jamal Osman, a Somali American who represents the neighborhood, witnessed the confrontation and did an Associated Press videographer. Minnesota's Somali community, the largest in the United States, has been on the edge the past couple of weeks since Donald Trump said in a social media post Thanksgiving night that he was terminating temporary protected status for them for racist reasons because he hates them because of the way they look. It's not clear how many Somali community members have been arrested, temporarily detained, or asked to show documents as part of the crackdown, which has also netted people of other nationalities. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials said via email that they made no arrests in the neighborhood Tuesday but provided no further details. So they're probably not even arresting people. They're just going there to torment them. Just piss people off. Just irritate them. Go there, spray them, tell them they're not welcome, and then leave. Because they are terrible, terrible people. Osmond said armed ICE agents went to the East African restaurants in the neighborhood Tuesday, closed the doors, and demanded people's ID. So they went in, closed the doors behind them, and said, show us your papers. They found only U.S. citizens and made no arrests. Again, not a surprise. They want to terrorize people. They want to hurt people. They want to irritate all the people because they don't give a shit. This isn't about law. This isn't about order. It's about hurting the people that they hate. Luckily, everyone had their passports because I've been telling them to have their passports with them, Osmond said. After checking the IDs of some people stopped at random on the street and temporarily detaining at least one U.S. citizen, Osmond said the agents were in 7 to 10 vehicles to a nearby city-owned senior housing complex. There, he said, a group of mostly white young people they called heroes blew whistles to sound the alarm and confronted the agents who responded with chemical irritants. So this is what the normal people, the good people, are doing. They blow their whistles and they stand in front of their cars and don't let them pass and stuff like that to irritate them and slow them down, which is good. Because these are the fucking Nazi brown shirts. These are the fucking Gestapo. They're not good, and they should not be allowed to be doing what they're doing. Thank God so many people showed up there. Osmond said the agents couldn't get out of there because the people showed up with their cars and whistles. Osmond said and this is protest. This is solid, actual American protest. I know I've said it before, but the Boston Tea Party destroyed private property. Just did. That's what it was. That's what they did. The tea they threw into the harbor was very expensive. Had to be shipped all the way from fucking England. And they destroyed it. They threw it in the water. They took that boat where they weren't allowed. That's private property. They were on that boat. They gathered up all that tea that they didn't want to pay a tax for, and they threw it in the fucking water, ruining it, destroying private property. And we teach children that this is the sign of rebellion. This is the solid framework. This is what began America. A tax revolt. No taxation without representation. What we're seeing here with these American people standing in front of the cars and preventing them from carrying out unlawful and unnecessary deportations is solid, true blue American patriotism standing up to the power. They are protesting. They are protesting the right way. And I could not be any happier. This is fantastic. Osman said that he saw people suffering from the effects of chemical irritants. He also said that he spoke with one young Somali American who was dragged to a vehicle, detained, and taken to an ICE detention center. There, officials finally looked at his U.S. passport, fingerprinted him, and released him, but told him to find his own way home about 6 miles away in the snowy weather, because they couldn't arrest him. He was an American. Most of those Somalis are American, but Donald Trump doesn't know that because he doesn't think black people are American. He doesn't think they are. He doesn't think that you can come from another country and become an American. He doesn't think that your children born on this in this country are Americans. He doesn't think that. He hates it, in fact. That it is the law. That is how the law is set up now, and he does not like that. So he wants to hurt them. He wants to irritate them. He wants to make them walk 6 miles home in the snow. That's what he wants. So maybe others will stop coming here. I just don't know what they accomplished today other than chaos, said Osman. And guess what? That is their goal. Donald Trump is the chaos candidate. He always has been. He wants chaos. He does not want law and order. He wants corruption and chaos. Donald Trump further stoked tensions last week when he called Somalis garbage and said that he does not want them in our country because he's racist and a piece of shit. At the same time, federal agents launched a crackdown against Minnesota Somalis. The president's moves have drawn denunciation from leaders of the Somali community, Democrats including Governor Tim Walz, and amid relative silence from top state Republicans because they like it. They like it when somebody else does the racism for them. The top state Republicans also hate the Somalis. They just know that they'll get in trouble for saying it. Donald doesn't get in trouble for saying racism. I don't know why that is. It should get him in trouble for saying racist crap, but he never seems to. I don't know, some magic wish he made on a monkey's paw a million years ago or something. I don't know. About 84,000 of the 260 Somalis in the country live in Minneapolis. The overwhelming majority of them are U.S. citizens. U.S. citizens, which means you cannot simply deport them. Almost 58% were born in the United States. So more than half of these motherfuckers were born in the country. That makes them U.S. citizens. And 87% of those were born elsewhere are naturalized citizens. So only you cut it in half, and then you take 13%. And those are the people who aren't already naturalized citizens. The system worked just damn fine. Donald Trump doesn't know what the system is. Republicans do not understand what the system did or why it did it or how it could possibly produce brown people in the country. They hate Somalians coming to our country. And if you tell them that the system intentionally found them, made them into citizens, did a background check, put them into a place that we needed people to do jobs, and then we gave them jobs, they will be shocked that that's the system. They'd be like, no, the system is supposed to keep people out. No, Mr. Republican. No, Mr. President. The system is supposed to immigrate people in as we need them. That's how the system's supposed to work. But you don't know that because you're dumb. Very, very stupid, these Republican people are. So they don't recognize what is happening or why it's happening. And they never learn anything. They just feel and hate. A new website launched by the Department of Homeland Security lists at least 6 Somalis arrested in Minnesota in recent weeks. 6! 6! He told us there would be millions. The site says it's highlighted the worst of the worst criminal aliens arrested by ICE to show how agents are fulfilling President Donald Trump's promise to carry out mass deportations. Mass. 6. Mass. 6. Starting to think he was lying when he told us there was 20 million illegal criminals in the country. ICE released a statement Friday listing 3 other arrested Somalis who did not appear on the website, along with people of other nationalities who said they were arrested in Minneapolis as part of Operation Metro Surge. Gotta have a cool name. ICE said they had been convicted of crimes, including sexual abuse of minors, robbery, and domestic assault. Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey protected these criminals. No, they didn't protect the criminals. at the expense of the safety of Americans, said Kristi Noem, the dipshit. President, okay, let me do it in her voice. Governor Tim Walz, Mayor Jacob Frey protected these criminals at the expense of the safety of Americans. President Trump and Kristi Noem have a clear message from criminal illegal aliens. Leave now. If you don't, we will find you, arrest you, and deport you. Kristi Noem is full of shit. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't understand what these systems are. She doesn't understand why you would want to immigrate anybody, anywhere. And she really, really, really just hates people. She really just wants to be on TV, you know? She's a TV person. That's all she wants. Just be on TV. But she can't do that because she's also kind of a bad person. So what else we got? We've got ICE Representative Ilhan Omar. Trump is weaponizing fear against me and other immigrants. Yes. So obviously he's doing these things. The newest phase of militarized radical terror in Donald Trump's America is playing out on the streets of Minnesota. Masked and armed immigration and customs enforcement agents are stopping people of color, demanding identification. As media reports have documented, they have seized U.S. citizens. When concerned bystanders have tried to intervene, they have been met with pepper spray and threats. Terrified families do not know where their loved ones are and who has taken them. So, yeah, again, this is not acceptable. You can't pick a ethnic group and then try and chase them out of the country, especially if they came here according to the law and the rules because our last president said they should. You can be pissy about it, but you can't chase them out and call them criminals for that. And still in this kind of realm, Donald Trump is trying to get the Supreme Court to take away birthright citizenship. A Donald Trump associated legal ally on Sunday warned the Supreme Court is about to cross a very bright red line. It must not cross in connection with the most crucial case of the term. Former GOP staffer Mike Davis, probably a Nazi, but I don't know. Let's find out. Who has made headlines for his social media comments in the past and was rumored to be on Trump's list for Attorney General, so he's definitely a Nazi. Chimed in on social media about the case he sees as a priority for the top court. According to Davis, and we'll have to read in his voice, the Supreme Court is going to decide the most crucial case of this term, whether children of foreign invaders, including Islamist terrorists and other criminal illegal aliens, get birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. They do, boss. Every baby born in America gets that. Nobody remembers the brown Roundup flyers that went out just after Trump's election. I know, right? That did happen. And it is not a good thing. I don't like any of this obvious racism that they've got going on. And I will continue to read this with a Southern accent in a very racist way. The answer is clearly no. They're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Yes, they are. The Supreme Court already figured this out, Mike Davis. In 1912, they figured this out. As required by the 14th Amendment. Let's see if the justices have the courage to follow the plain language, original public understanding, and 127-year-old precedent. No. Dude, you're literally wrong in all the words, Mike Davis. All the words. All the words you got here are wrong. They are not they are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Yes, they are. They're here. If you're in the United States, physically, the Constitution applies to you. The Supreme Court in 1912 figured this out. Read a history book, Mike Davis, but he doesn't know how to read. As required by the 14th Amendment, let's see if the justices have the courage to follow the plain language. The plain language is, if you're born here, you're an American citizen. It doesn't get any more plain than that. To change that, to get to Mike Davis's position, you have to pervert the plain language. You have to bend it. You have to break it. You have to twist it into a pretzel and turn it upside down. Original public understanding. Nope. The public understands it very simply. You're born here. You're an American. And 127-year-old precedent. The 127-year-old precedent is against you, Mike Davis. You just don't know that because you're stupid. Answer this dispositive question. What? Answer this dispositive question. If the children of American Indians did not get birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment, Congress gave them statutory birthright citizenship in 1924, how the hell would illegal aliens? They don't. So what he's pointing to is an oversight that the Congress fixed back in 1924. Those Americans, those Native American children, those American Indian children, were part of not quite America yet. It depends. But Congress gave them statutory birthright citizenship. So they gave it to them. Okay? They fixed the problem by giving them the same thing that everybody else gets. And so now how would a legal aliens? They don't. They do. Mike, I'm sorry. Fuck these people. The 14th Amendment is very, very clear. Yeah. And so were the arguments when it was written. Absolutely. Right, Phil. That is entirely correct. He's bending over backwards to not understand it because he doesn't like it. And Davis concluded with, this is a very bright red line. And he's right that this is one of the things that hard racists really want the Supreme Court to do, is to rewrite the rules. And those rules would not make any sense. If they changed birthright citizenship, it wouldn't stop any of the people that are already here. You would have to start it. Let's imagine tomorrow, December 15th, tomorrow the 15th. The Supreme Court said, okay, from this point on, no more 14th Amendment, no more birthright citizenship. From this point on. So it wouldn't change anybody that's already here. It wouldn't change any of the Somalians. It wouldn't change any of the people who are here. It wouldn't have changed anything for anybody except tomorrow. The first baby born tomorrow would... Even the first white baby born in Ohio to citizen parents would not know if they're a citizen. You wouldn't know because what rules have to be put in place? What paperwork has to be done? How far back do your parents have to go? What if only one of your parents is a citizen? What if the other one isn't? Does it matter if it's the man or the woman? It would. What difference does it make? If the guy is a citizen and the woman isn't, does that make a difference? She gave birth, right? But if the woman is a citizen and the man isn't, does that make a difference? Who knows? This would create a labyrinth of legal rules, loopholes, and hurdles to get past. Everyone would suffer. And I'm telling you, straight white people in middle America would not know if their children are citizens or not because they don't have the paperwork to fill out, because they don't know if their parents are citizens. What if your grandparents weren't citizens? Donald Trump's grandfather wasn't a citizen. Where does it go? Who gets to be citizens and who doesn't? It's very complicated. It's very complicated for adults. But we have one very easy rule, one very common rule, one very clear rule. These people, what about the 1924 Immigration Act back? It was based on Nordicism and eugenics. Yeah, it would not surprise me. And they are Republicans, so they are racist. They do think about eugenics a lot. And they would base all their rules on vibes. They would vibe check every baby, is what they would do. They would find out what the baby's name is, find out who the parents are. Are they American citizens and are they white? Great. Vibe check passed. You get to be citizens. But you have to fill out paperwork and shit. Even babies born of immigrant parents, illegal immigrant parents in America, are given a birth certificate and a social security number. That's just how the system works. What if you don't get one of those? It doesn't make any sense. They have no plans. They have no rules. They have no laws. They have no paperwork ideas. They have no process. They don't have the legal processes put in place to repeal the 14th Amendment. And when they do, because they might, the Supreme Court will do that, and it will cause chaos because they don't care about people being hurt. They just want to hurt the people they don't like. And if a few white people get hurt in the meantime, collateral damage. We need to hurt the black people is what the Republicans want to do. Don't clip me on that. That's what Republicans say, not Waldo. The Republicans want to hurt black people. That is what they want to do, and they will do whatever they can to do that. And if it hurts a few small fringe white people, that's just collateral damage. We have to take care of that. We'll address their grievances when we can. But the main job of Republicans is to hurt black people. So new parents would need to show a real ID to get a citizen status for their babies. Maybe that's if they put that together. Donald Trump and his offices tend to talk real big and sign very big documents, but they don't put the details in there. They don't put the very tiny minutia in there, about, is that real ID okay? Do you have to show it? Is it one or the other or both? Does it have to be both? What if it's only one? What if they're up for adoption? We don't know. They haven't thought about it because they're dumb. They haven't thought about it because they don't want to think about it. They don't actually think that this is going to help. They just want to hurt people. They want to hurt people and make them want to not be here. They want them to leave. Donald Trump and all of the Republicans want the immigrant people to leave and never come back and just be a straight white American country, a straight white Christian country forever. And if you're not one of those things, you're not a thing. Just like guns, people are expendable. Yeah. They haven't thought the details out. They haven't thought it through. They have not put lawyers in place to lay out all the steps and the streamline of the paperwork because they hate lawyers. Any lawyer who's worth a damn does not work for Donald Trump. No, he lies a lot. He expects you to lie a lot, and he does not pay his bills. These well-known facts about Donald Trump. He does not pay his lawyers properly, or when he does pay them, it's in cockamamie fucking illegal schemes to get them paid. That's what happened to Michael Cohen. Yeah, it was Cohen. Yeah. Cohen said, hey, I'm going to do this work. How about you pay me? And Donald was like, okay, well, you'll take this money from this lawsuit and put it into that account. And then that account will be connected to your account that you can move money back and forth. And like, why don't you just pay him, Donnie? Because he's a fucking scammer. And now the thing that Cohen did was illegal. The moving the money around the way he did was illegal. So he went to jail for it. He wouldn't have gone to jail if Donnie had just paid him. So all the lawyers who work for him do not want to work for him or aren't lawyers. They don't actually know what they're doing. The two hot girls, I forget what, the mean girls, I forget what their names were. Alina Habba and some other fucking blonde bimbo who only get their jobs because of their looks. Honestly, I'm not trying to be sexist here. Donald Trump does not care about their law degrees. He cares that they look nice on TV. That's what he cares about the most. He's looking good on TV. Donnie likes hot girls. Okay. We all know this. And so if there's a lawyer, 80-year-old man, been in the business for, been a lawyer his entire life, and he could hire that guy for a lot of money, and you're going to have to pay him. If you're going to, if 80-year-old lawyer man is going to lie, you better pay him for it. And Donnie doesn't like that. But then he sees law Barbies. You damn right, Phil. Law Barbies. And he's like, oh, they work for cheap. And they'll lie. And they're too stupid to know that I'm ripping them off too. Hire the law Barbies. And so when he did that, the two of them got thrown out recently. Haba and I forget the other one's name. But the point is, I've gotten off track now. They are trying to overturn birthright citizenship, and it will be a fucking nightmare. It will be a mess. It will be a wreck. Let's look at ICE flights. So this is great. This ICE flight carried migrants from Alexandria, Louisiana to the U.S. Naval Base in Gitmo. Oh, yeah, baby. Gitmo. We're sending the immigrants to Guantanamo Bay, which was built for terrorists. But the Republicans don't know the difference between a terrorist and an immigrant. They don't know. They don't know the difference between an immigrant and an illegal immigrant. They don't know. There is differences between these things, and they don't know. They're very dumb. They're too dumb, in fact, to be running a very large government. But it's what we voted for because, well, some of us voted for it anyway. Some of us didn't. Let me see. What other... Oh, okay. Here we go. Speaking of racist rants exposed in Border Patrol agents accused of threatening to shoot bystanders. So there was a Border Patrol agent that pointed a gun at a bunch of bystanders. I wonder if we got the video down here. No, he was on his elbow. It was a whole thing. Anyway, that Border Patrol agent who allegedly threatened to shoot a bystander during an arrest in Chicago has been exposed for a history of extreme racist and hate-filled online posts, reported the Daily Beast on Friday. This is why they wear the masks. This is why they wear the masks. Because if we knew who they were, we would find out what their online names are, and we would find the racist, hate-filled online posts that they have been making for decades. Timothy Donahue, 38, was a member of lead commander Gregory. Did AI write this shit, Raw Story? You got to do better on these. I can't read this shit. Timothy Donahue, 38, was a member of Gregory Bovino's marauding so-called Green Army during Operation Midway Blitz in Illinois, part of President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. Donahue was cited, though not by name, in a blistering opinion in U.S. District Judge Sarah L. Ellis after he was filmed threatening someone watching an arrest in Evanston. Footage apparently of Donahue appearing to show him saying, "Step back or I'm going to shoot you," to a bystander. According to the report, Donahue has an active presence on social media where he expressed a number of extremist opinions. Among other things, Donahue approvingly replied based, he just said based, to a post that showed a white father disowning his daughter for having a black prom date. Okay. So a white girl brings the black home for her prom date, and then the father disowns her, and he said based. Amazing. And a video that appeared to show two men ganging up to attack a gay man. He also replied yes to a link to a post asking if America would be better off if women did not have voting rights, and said good in response to an article about how the transgender community in Nashville feared for their safety after high-profile school shooting. Hooray! An archived version of Donahue X's account shows his same handle and a photo of him younger and clean-shaven before his display name was changed to his own name, Donnie, and then following journalist inquiries, the based red beard, before it changed again in the past 2 weeks. All of this comes as Trump's administration, as Greg Bovino specifically comes under heavy scrutiny from both public and courts about the excessive use of force by immigration agents in Chicago, both against their targets and in response to a protest. So, yeah, this is why they wear the mask, so that we can't find their hateful Twitter posts. So yeah, it's a bad time, and not a surprise. Yeah, I know you should. That's probably a good idea. Anybody with the Google Foo could follow him and find out who else he likes, and then we find out more about the agents and figure out who is working for ICE and stuff like that. And I would suggest we do that because that would be good, because these are bad people. They're doing a bad thing for bad reasons. And I don't like it. I'm wasting my tax dollars. Also, I saw this one. This just made me smile. Lutnick, the Donald Trump's favorite economy guy, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. So this was 8 months ago when he started talking about all the tariffs and stuff like that, and how China makes all the iPhones, but because they do all that work over there, we were going to tariff the iPhones, and then we would have to have somebody build the iPhones, and that would come over here, and then America would put would build the factories, and then the American factories would hire American workers to put in these little screws. Okay. But today, he says, remember, Americans don't have millions of people to screw in little screws in iPhones, but we have the capacity to run robotics. So when he was talking 8 months ago, all the American people, those American patriots, were going to get a factory job and screw in little screws in iPhones. But now he's like, no, we don't have the people for that. So we're just going to have to run robotics, and you will continue to be without a job. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know how the economy works. He's very, very, very dumb. He does not comprehend complex ideas. The economy is too complicated for him, so he just says whatever he feels. And if he is wrong, then you didn't listen, and it was wrong, and the economy's wrong, actually. And if he's right, that's because he's a super genius. Again, economics is just a measure of how rich people feel right now. The economy and the price numbers, the NASDAQ and the what's that other one? The New York Stock Exchange numbers and all that fun stuff, all fun shit. That's just how wealthy people feel. If they feel happy, those numbers are up. If they feel sad, the numbers go down. You might think it's the other way around, and it kind of is. If the numbers go down because Lutnick did something stupid, then the wealthy people feel sad, and then it continues to go down. if Letnick does something insane and then he stops doing the things that Donald Trump tells him to do, the numbers go up, and then the wealthy people feel happier, and then the numbers go up. You see, the economy is just how wealthy people feel at any given moment. A few motivated hotel leakers could reveal dozens of those motherfuckers. Yeah, you're right. I think that would be interesting. Maybe somebody who works there would just record some of their conversations and stuff like that. Because I don't know, are the ICE members actually like staying in hotels and stuff like that? I know that I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe we're paying for them to stay in there. They don't live in that area, obviously. So where are they sleeping? Are they sleeping in a barrack room? I don't know. Are they sleeping at hotels? They could be. We could have the hotel clerks do this for us. This is a great idea. Lutnick does not understand Foxconn and suicidal assembly works. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know what any of this stuff is. He doesn't know what any of it means. He just knows that regulation bad because then people have to pay the government, or the government tells you what you can and can't do. He doesn't like any of these things. He doesn't know what the economy is. He doesn't understand simple supply and demand. He does not know what any of that shit is. He tells you how he feels. And I've said it for a very long time. The economy is just feelings. It's not based on real world stuff anymore. It's just based on vibes. A long time ago, I would say that it hasn't always been that way. A long time ago, you had corn and you sold corn. Okay. And if you didn't grow any corn because some giant weather thing hit you, you starved and died. And then your children all starved, and then you had to sell your farm or something. But then they invented this whole stock market where you could like pay somebody for corn before it was raised. And if anything went wrong, you could get it from someone else. And it was like a co-op kind of a thing where if you got your little plot didn't get enough rain, or a tornado came through and ruined it all, you didn't starve to death because you still had could pay somebody else for this thing. It's a whole complicated thing. And even before that, all capitalism was based on digging up resources, banging them with a hammer, turning them into a product, and then selling them on the market. That is not what our economy is anymore. Our economy is all imaginary. It's all based on crypto coins, which don't exist, and percentages of compounding interest, which don't exist. And then the compounding interest is on money that is sold in a package of mortgages, which don't exist. The economy isn't real anymore. It's all imaginary. And when everybody notices that, they freak out a little bit, and then they take their money out. And when too many people notice that at the same time, we get a bank run, everybody takes all their money out, and then we have a crash. The AI bubble, which the AI doesn't exist. It doesn't do anything. Nobody wants it. Middle managers at big office jobs want it to like streamline the useless emails that they have to send and read. But regular people don't actually want AI. They don't like it. Nobody does. I recognize that maybe you like fiddling around with the image generation, and I get it. That's kind of fun. But like, would you go watch a movie made by AI? I wouldn't. I never would. I would never pay to watch that. And even if I did watch it for free somehow and gave it a click, I would shit talk it and be like, what is this? This is bad. Stop doing this. Give actual artists a way to make this instead. AI is bad. It's going to take all our jobs, and it's going to take all of our money, and it's going to ruin all of our resources. It's going to steal all our resources. It's going to steal all of our electricity. Apparently, it's not going to steal all our water. I thought it was, and I've said that in the past, but apparently it's not going to steal all our water. But I'm still not happy with it. Any drop of water spent on an AI farm is a wasted drop of water. Any watt of electricity spent on AI is wasted. It really is. And that bubble's going to pop soon because they can't turn a profit on it. The people who are trying to turn it into a product can't and won't. And the people aren't going to like whatever product they come up with. So it's going to fail soon. And it's going to be a gigantic flop. And we're going to go into a recession, and Donald Trump, because he will still be president, will blame the AI companies instead of himself. And anytime I complain about this terrible economy, the conservatives, the online Republicans, will say, it's because AI failed. It's not Trump's fault. It's because of the AI, and no, he enabled the AI. He enabled them. He was in the White House with them telling us how it was great. And they were going to do all these great things. They're going to build these server farms and these data centers. It's going to be fantastic. And so he's responsible when the AI bubble bursts. But they won't accept that. So what the hell else did I have to talk about today? I know, but AI fake Rick Wilson is pretty funny and doesn't breathe between words. Yeah, and that's fine. I don't mind having silly fun with the AIs. It's just that it's not going to be the bajillion-dollar business that they think it is. It's just not. Middle managers are going to use it to write emails and then not read emails. What are they there for? If your managers are using AI to read a bunch of stuff and then using AI to write a bunch of stuff and pass it up the chain, the hell's the point? What are they doing? They're worthless. Fire them. Get rid of them. I think that about most middle management, though. There's a puppy dog back there. You can see his butt. See his butt? Little puppy butt. He's trying to get one of his toys and play with it. If he comes over here, I'll grab him. He's settling down. I shouldn't grab him. It's getting late for him, so I'm not going to bother him. If he comes over here, I'll grab him, but not until then. So, what the hell am I doing? Oh yeah. Okay. Switching subjects completely. Now for something completely different. We all remember when Donald Trump won the FIFA Peace Prize, right? It was a good time. Let me get up my thing here. Where did my thing go? There it is. We all remember that Trump won the FIFA Peace Prize, and that was a huge win for everyone in America. Everyone who watches football, everyone in the world has benefited, obviously, from him getting this prize. And because it was so successful and good for the planet, I suggest FIFA continue and take on all the other categories from the Nobel Prize Committee. As you're no doubt aware, the Nobel Prize Committee has become woke and gay. They're obsessed with evidence and academic facts, and the world needs prizes to be handed out to people who don't know things. So we need the FIFA awards to be decided for and by the real people, the salt of the earth, morons. So, the Nobel Committee gives out prizes in 5 categories other than peace. And today what we'll do is we'll cover the runners-up and then the winners of each of these categories. The categories being physics, chemistry, medicine, economics, and literature. But let's start with the Peace Prize, because Donnie won that one. So let's do that one first. So here is, boop. FIFA gives Trump a Peace Prize in a departure from its traditional focus on sports. So this is really dumb and stupid. Donnie, the person who causes wars and threatens wars and is currently dragging us towards a war with Venezuela, got a Peace Prize because they needed him to feel good. They needed him to feel happy thoughts about them so that he wouldn't tariff them. President Donald Trump was awarded the new FIFA Peace Prize on Friday, the 2026 World Cup draw, giving the spectacle to set matchups for the quadrennial soccer tournament even more of a Trumpian flair. Trump, who had openly campaigned for the Nobel Peace Prize, had been heavily expected to receive the newly created FIFA prize. FIFA President Gianni Infantino, a close ally of Trump, said he thought Trump would have won the Nobel Prize for his efforts to broker a ceasefire in Gaza, except that ceasefire that never happened. Like it happened. They said, hey, let's ceasefire, and then they kept killing people. Israel is still killing people in Gaza today, even though they never ceased firing. In awarding the prize to Infantino told Trump it was a beautiful medal for you that you can wear anywhere you want to go. Trump promptly placed the medal around his own neck, as you usually do. Usually when you, even in like sports, you lean your neck down and someone else puts the medal on you. The certificate that Infantino handed Trump recognizes the U.S. president for his actions to promote peace and unity around the world, which is nonsense, obviously. He's never done any of that. So, in the spirit of these awards, they gave the FIFA Peace Prize to a warmonger. So what we're going to do is we're going to give out the rest of those prizes to the people in the same vein, the same spirit of people who shouldn't deserve a prize and shouldn't get a prize for what they're talking about because they're stupid morons. Let's start with physics. The runner-up for the FIFA prize in physics is, drum roll please, Editor Waldo, Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard. I don't know if you've been listening to him lately, but he has gone insane trying to tell you that 1 times 1 isn't 1. He doesn't understand the very simple rows and columns that I got taught when I got taught how to do multiplication. I didn't understand multiplication as a kid. Most kids don't. And I'm talking like 3rd grade or something like that. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, what are we doing with these numbers? I learned how to add. That makes sense. You have 2. You have 2 more. There you go, 4. Derp. That makes sense. If you got 4 and you take 1 away, now you got 3. Great. What are we multiplying? How does 2 times 5 equal 10? That doesn't make any sense. 2 and 5 is 7, not 10. It was explained to me in rows and columns. So when you do 3 times 5, you have 3 rows of 5 apples. And if you were to count them all, you would have 15, right? Very simple, very easy stuff. But if you had 2 columns, or if you had 1 row and 1 column, there would only be 1 apple. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, this has, for a very long time, apparently since 3rd grade even, maybe, been a problem for Terrence Howard. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Talk about how a lot of people have that sort of narrow mindset. And sort of, you talked about identity.
Yeah, the identity element.
Oh, hang on.
The things that make our math works. Like if I said to you, what's 1 times 1?
1, you idiot.
What'd you say, 1?
Yes, because it's the correct answer.
Now, what would Newton say is that? Action times an action.
1.
That's a reaction, right?
No.
Anybody in
these
here
are numbers,
that thinks
not
1
actions,
times 1
dingus.
equals 1, then you give me 2 pounds and I'll give you a pound back.
That's not, you're not multiplying at this point. He's thoroughly confusing all of these points. And just because Newton said it, he thinks that you are being identitarian. Newton said 1 times 1 is 1. So you saying it means you're following everything that Newton ever taught you. Newton didn't teach me that 1 times 1 was 1. My 3rd grade teacher did. Because they knew what they were talking about as well. They have 1 row, 1 column means 1 apple.
And we'll call that even, right? Because 1 times 1 equals 1.
Yes, 1, yes.
Unbalanced equation. What we
it's
need
not
to
unbalanced.
do is the first thing in math is you're supposed to have a balanced equation. 1 times 1 equaling 1 is an unbalanced equation.
No, it's not.
But the identity element, which is like the Jim Crow laws of the 60s, they say that anything multiplied by 1 becomes that same number as itself.
1 row of 3
Well,
is
the
3,
laws of
yes.
physics has to break down in order for that to take place. Action and reaction for 1 times 1
What's that got to do with Jim Crow?
1. In comparison to if I said, what's $1 times $1? Anybody know it's $1? Well, what's
you don't multiply 1 times.
Or 10 pence?
10 pence, yeah.
10 pence times 10 pence?
What?
That's a pound, right? 10 pence times 10 pence?
1
Is
row,
that right, honey?
1 column.
What about 100 pence
of
times
dollar
100
bills is
pence?
$1.
That's a pound times a pound, right?
Oh, Jesus.
That's $100, ain't it?
It's $100.
What about a quarter?
What
What about
about
4
a
quarters
quarter?
times 4 quarters? That's $1, right? That's a pound, right? Well, that's $4.
What?
Now, all of these things are legal. The banks can
Are
say a
legal?
dollar times a dollar is a dollar.
All of that is legal. You can't prove that. You can't. Oh, all of that is legal. What? This is insanity. This is madness. All of that is legal. Like, you can't put him in jail for saying that.
I'll give you that. Or the banks can say to a friend, a dollar times a dollar is a quarter times a quarter. It's 4 quarters times 4 quarters, and give that person $4. They can say to another person, a dollar.
The banks don't do that. The banks don't. I've been to a bank, boss. They're not in there telling each other that 1 quarter times a quarter is 4 quarters, which is actually $4, and then just giving out $4 and then saying they have $4. That's not what they do. That is not what banks do. If you tell me they're imagining money, I believe you. I think they are. But they're not imagining it the way you're doing it.
Dollar times a dollar is 100 pence times 100 pence. That person gets $100. So that money is generated.
That person gets $100.
And this is all legal. Do you think it's not happening in the banks?
That is not happening in the banks.
This is
Terrence, that is not happening in the banks, man. That is not what they do there.
what 1 times 1 equaling 1 has got us. This inconsistency of our monies and our economy is sitting in the balance. And the rest of our future is sitting in the balance because our science has been stunted as a result of the problems in mathematics, because math asks for the basic laws of physics to break down in order for 1 times 1 to equal 1.
No, man. Mathematics are just measurements. You think that physics is math. It's not. Physics can be measured by math. Everything can be measured. But math isn't a thing that exists. It's a thought process that we've come up with. It's a system of measurements. And I've been to a bank, and have you ever been to a bank and then you walked in and you saw the sign right there inside the bank that says 1 times 1 equals 1? I've seen those inside the bank. But if you go around to the back of the bank from where the teller is, you can look up and see the same plaque, but it says 1 times 1 equals 2. This is the scam that they're running on you, apparently.
In order for 1 times 0 to equal nothing, laws of conservation of energy has to disappear.
Conservation of energy has nothing to do with multiplication tables.
And math is the foundating laws of math is supposed to support the laws of physics. They are
absolutely fucking backwards. Absolutely backward. Math measures the things that happen within physics. That is all.
Arm in arm. They cannot be in controversy with each other. So
they are in controversy with each other all the time for a thing if we can't explain a thing. The physical thing happens. We don't have a way to measure it. We will have to invent a new math. We will have to invent a new measurement standard. But he doesn't know what that means.
We need an audit on the Platonic solids. We need an audit on the square root of 2.
Audit.
We need an audit on action and reaction. Or we either got to get rid of, we say 1 times 1 equals 1 and there's no action and reaction. One or the other. You can't have both. And until we make that change, we're in trouble. We're going to be stunted as a species.
Stunted. So clearly, this man is also running for the economics prize as well. But let's stick with physics for the moment. Audit on the square root of 2 is genius. I love this idea. Put all the mathematicians in a room and force them to aggressively math at each other until only one survives. And then he will come out and have the new square root of 2, in which case we can then reevaluate all the numbers above that and become unstunted in our scientific growth. Amazing. But as brilliant as that man is, he's still only the runner-up for this year's FIFA prize in physics. And the winner of 2025's FIFA prize in physics is, drumroll, Donald Trump. I know, shocker, but listen, let's listen to him discuss the complex subject of nuclear
by that time it's gone. But you know what irks me? Look, having nuclear, my uncle was a great professor and scientist and engineer, Dr. John Trump at MIT. Good genes, very good genes.
Good genes, yeah.
Very smart. The Wharton School of Finance, very good, very smart. You know, if you're a conservative Republican, if I were a liberal, if I ran as a liberal Democrat, they would say I'm one of the smartest people anywhere in the world. It's true. But when you're a conservative Republican, they try, do they do a number? That's why I always thought, went to Wharton, was a good student. Went there, did this, built the book. You know, I have to give my credentials all the time.
A number,
because we're at a little disadvantage. But you look at the nuclear deal, the thing that really bothers me, it would have been so easy, and it's not as important as these lives are. Nuclear is so powerful. My uncle explained that to me many, many years ago, the power, and that was 35 years ago. He would explain the power of what's going to happen, and he was right. Who would have thought? But when you look at what's going on with the 4 prisoners, now it used to be 3. Now it's 4.
It was 3, now it's 4.
When it was 3,
see, he's so good at this.
I would have said, it's all in the messenger. Fellas, and it is fellas because, you know, they haven't figured that the women are smarter right now than the men, so, you know, it's going to take them about another 150 years. But
that's
the
just physics,
Persians are great negotiators. The Iranians are great negotiators. So, and they just killed us. This is horrible. But I would have said at the beginning, fellas, you got to let our prisoners.
That is the person to win this year's FIFA Physics Prize. Did you hear all he said about nuclear and the numbers? You have to do quite a number. There was 3, now there's 4. He's a winner, and he deserves it. Those very good genes are the reason Donald Trump is winning this year's FIFA prize in physics. So what comes after that? We get, what is the next prize? The next prize is chemistry. So the Nobel Prize in chemistry this year, the Nobel Prize, went to a group of dweebs who developed metal organic frameworks, and they allowed gases and other chemicals to pass through solid metal. Nerd shit, honestly. I mean, come on. They did research and had evidence and all that dumb shit. They did like testing and theorizing, and then they created hypotheses, and then they tested those things out, and they found a way to get gases and chemicals through solid metal. And it's just nerd shit, okay? So we can't have that for our FIFA prizes. We're kind of going the opposite direction. So the runner-up for the FIFA prize in chemistry is Lee Zeldin. Let's take a look at him real quick. Let's look at Lee Zeldin.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin here. The Trump EPA is proudly committed to fully following the law and being a great steward of your taxpayer dollars. Since being signed into law on Independence Day, EPA has been diligently working to implement President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill in accordance with congressional intent. The new law eliminates billions of green slush fund dollars by repealing the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, including a $7 billion program called Solar for All.
Now, Mr. Zeldin here knows that the real chemistry is that of money. He has been put in charge of the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, you would assume that by the name EPA, that he's supposed to use the government's power to protect the environment. He would use the agency to protect the environment because it is called the Environment Protection Agency. No. Common mistake. No, that's not what he does at all. He's there to save money. He's there to not spend money. He exists to not spend money. And that is true chemistry, really.
One of the more shocking features of Solar for All was with regards to the massive dilution of the money, as many grants go through pass-through after pass-through after pass-through after pass-through, with all of the middlemen taking their own cut at least 15% by conservative estimates. What a grift.
So the government gave people money to do solar panels, and 15% of it went to middlemen. Okay, great. Did you get rid of the middlemen? Did you cut them out? No, you just stopped all the money.
Furthermore, the Biden-Harris administration exempted this program from the Build America, Buy America law that requires federal agencies to use American workers, American products, and American infrastructure for projects using American taxpayer dollars. That's great news for China, not so much for the USA.
Obama tried to get solar panels built in America, and the Republicans told him to fuck off because they work for the oil companies. You know.
Lastly, while this program was stood up in 2024, very little money has actually been spent.
So we didn't lose any money? You're just going to not spend it. You're just going to give it all back.
Recipients are still very much in the early planning phase, not the building and construction process. But the bottom line again is this: EPA no longer has the authority to administer the program or the appropriated funds to keep this boondoggle alive. With clear language and intent from Congress in the One Big Beautiful Bill, EPA is taking action to end this program for good. We are committed to the rule of law and being a good steward of taxpayer dollars. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So fucking stupid. He's also pushing for Trump officials to set forever chemicals as pesticide agreements. You know, PFAS, PFAs, Trump's EPA has proposed for approval this year would put food and water supply at risk. You know, so he's doing everything he can to not spend money and not protect the environment. So he is absolutely belonging in this area. The FIFA chemistry prize. He has canceled government paying for solar because we all know that it doesn't work. Well, it does, but he doesn't know that it works. He feels like solar is bad. He doesn't like it. And it's just a Chinese scam and a Democrat hoax anyway. So he doesn't need scientific papers or facts about the environment. He shoots from the hip. You know, he leaps before he looks because he trusts his gut about environmental issues. But he is our runner-up because he is just following the lead of our actual winner. You've guessed it. Our 2025 FIFA prize in chemistry goes to Donald Trump for his love of clean, beautiful coal. Let's hear about beautiful, clean coal from Donald Trump.
I call it beautiful, clean coal. I tell my people never use the word coal unless you put beautiful, clean before it. Right, Doc? So we call it beautiful, clean coal. Beautiful, clean coal. So today, thank you. Today we're taking historic action to help American workers, miners, families, and consumers. We're ending Joe Biden's war on beautiful, clean coal once and for all. And it wasn't just Biden, it was Obama, and there were others. But we're doing the exact opposite.
So, Donald Trump here. MAGA Christian nationalists don't care about the environment. Jesus will take them before anything does. Yeah, I know.
Thank you very much.
You're right.
This is a
I
very
got it. Hang on.
important day
Who's
to me,
talking?
Because we're
Shit up. I did not tell you to talk. Okay. So Donald here has literally changed the chemistry of coal. Okay. Coal used to be a dirty process. Burning the coal used to be a dirty process that let out a lot of CO2 and a lot of carbon and a lot of greenhouse gases and stuff like that, pollution, you know. But Donald Trump worked intensely to change the very molecules of coal. And he has created beautiful, clean coal. He made it. He created it out of nowhere. He is a visionary. Okay. No more pollution. He cleaned the coal, you guys. The rocks we dig up out of the ground can now be the chemical that drives us into the future. Maybe someday we'll get a clean coal rocket ship to the moon. Donald Trump deserves the FIFA prize in chemistry because he changed literally the chemical composition of coal. It doesn't pollute anymore. It just doesn't. I mean, and there's no way that you can prove to me that it does. So he is the winner of this year's FIFA prize in chemistry. What is the next category? Medicine. Medicine. This is a very interesting one. So medicine is our next category. Let's see who our runner-up in the field of medicine. The runner-up for this year's FIFA prize in medicine goes to RFK Jr. for his common sense knowledge of acetaminophen and how it causes autism. Let's listen to what he has to say.
First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change. HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA also recognized that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment in the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required.
The doctors already do this. So if you know anything, this is entirely nonsense. This is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. But the way I understand it, the way I read it, the fever causes the autism. And if you get a fever, the first thing a doctor tells you to do is take Tylenol. And if you get a fever and then have autism, they're blaming it on the Tylenol instead of the fever because they're fucking stupid. And RFK Jr. does not need any proof or studies or evidence. No, he doesn't need any of that shit. He feels like something must be causing the autism because he doesn't remember any autists around when he was a kid. So obviously something is causing it. And he went with his gut and say it was Tylenol. But as intelligent as, clean coal by ass. Yeah, exactly. Gonna die breathing coal pollution during the air apocalypse event. The clean coal is absolutely horseshit. It's just not real. But as intelligent as that video was, he has started to backpedal on it and started to maybe blame the fever rather than the Tylenol for the autism. And that is why he is the runner-up. Our winner, drum roll please, for the 2025 FIFA Prize in Medicine is Donald Trump. His consistent medical treatments at Walter Reed Medical Facility are leading scientists to learn and know things that they'd never seen before. You've heard about his mental or his health exams at Walter Reed and his mental health exams many times. But let's just listen to this one right here.
Like, is he in good health? Biden was great, but is Trump in good health? I sit here, I do 4 news conferences a day. I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people. I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you answers that solve your little problems. You go back.
Answers to solve your little problems.
And you can't find anything, but you do stories about Biden was in wonderful health. The guy didn't do a news conference for 8 months. If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president. You people are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago. But who the hell knows? By the way, I took my physical. I got all A's, everything.
All A's, baby.
But they said to me, would you like to take a cognitive test? I said, is it hard? They said, yes. I said, well, I'm a very smart person. Who was the last president to take one? No president has ever agreed to take one. Because when you get into the mid-questions, meaning 10, question number 10, 11, 12,
The mid question.
28, 30, they get harder and harder. And they said, would you like to do it? I said, well, no reason to do it. Nobody's ever done it. I'll do it maybe, but there's really no reason. They said, sir, the problem is this is Walter Reed Hospital. And that's a military hospital. And that means that things are, sort of open. It's not like private where you have, if you do poorly, we'll have to, probably you'll find out.
You'll find
I
out.
won't do poorly. I'm a smart person, not a stupid person. And as the doctor will tell you, I aced it. Right, Susie? I aced. I got every question right. And these are tough questions. These are questions that I would say 99% of the people that I'm talking to right now, meaning the people from the fake news, would not do well in those exams. But I'm the only one that took it. I got every single question right.
See, he got all of them right. He is a super genius, y'all. So the reason he's getting the FIFA prize in medicine is that doctors have never seen anything as amazing as him. Just by observing him, they are learning more and more about the human body than at any time in history. He is so healthy and perfect that the doctors are making medical breakthroughs just by measuring him. And that is obvious, according to him. According to the things he says, he's the only one who can pass these tests. So that man right there is the recipient of the FIFA prize in medicine. So what is the next category? Economics. We had a lot of nominees for the economics prize this year. Our runner-up is, drumroll please, Elon Musk. Let's look at Elon Musk. Bam. So Elon Musk, he ran the Department of Government Efficiency. That wasn't a department, and it wasn't efficient, and it was kind of part of the government, but maybe not. It wasn't even part of the government. So 3 out of 4 of the words right there were just wrong. It actually cost us more money because it fired people, and then the government agencies fell flat on their faces because they couldn't operate, and then they had to hire them back. Brilliant. Amazing thing for the economy. And then he gave us this interview, and this interview is fantastic.
That's what was happening. They were also giving out like debit cards with $10,000. So it's not just about medical care.
Immigrants just got free debit cards with $10,000. There's no evidence of this. No one's ever seen one. There's no way to prove that this happened, and he has no records or receipts to back it up. You're just gonna have to trust him. Trust him, bro.
Yeah. The Democrats mentioned the medical care because they're trying to prey on people's empathy as much as possible, and then they imagine, oh wow, somebody has a desperately needed medical procedure, and shouldn't we maybe take care of them in that regard? But what they do is they divert the Medicaid funds and turn it into a slush fund for the states that goes well beyond emergency medical care. And New York and California would be bankrupt without the massive fraudulent federal payments that go to those states to pay for illegals.
So he's saying that the government gives New York and California a bunch of money to take care of the illegal immigrants. Is that in the budget somewhere? Is that can you point to the department that moves that money around? He cannot, because he's making this up.
To create a massive financial incentive for illegals.
How would they be bankrupt because of that?
They wouldn't be able to balance their state budgets, and they can't issue currency like the Federal Reserve can.
And so their ability to balance budget is dependent upon illegals getting funding?
The scam level here is so staggering.
Oh, I agree, Elon. The scam level here is staggering.
So there are hundreds of billions of dollars of transfer payments from the federal government to the states. Those transfer payments, the states self-report what those transfer payment numbers should be. So California and New York and Illinois lie like crazy and say that these are all legitimate payments. Well, these days I think they're even admitting that they literally want hundreds of billions of dollars for illegals.
When did they say that? I listen to the news all the time, Elon. No one's ever admitted that. And if they're reporting these information, what form? What agency? Which part of the state of California is making these reports to the federal government? Which part of the federal government is giving these agencies their money? Tell us what they are, instead of being vague.
But for a while there, they're trying to deny it. So you get these transfer payments for every government program you can possibly think of, and these are self-reported by the state, and at least historically there was no enforcement of California, New York, Illinois, and other states when they would lie. There was no actual enforcement to say like, hey, you're lying. These payments are fraudulent. Now under the Trump administration, the Trump administration does not want to send hundreds of billions of dollars of fraudulent payments to the states. And the reason you have this standoff is because if the hundreds of billions of dollars to create a financial incentive to have this giant magnet to attract illegals from every part of Earth to these states, if that is turned off, the illegals will leave because they're no longer being paid to come to the United States.
They will leave because they're not being paid by the state to be here. Are you out of your goddamn minds, dude?
Stay here.
Wow.
And then they will lose a lot of voters. The Democratic Party will lose a lot of voters.
And they would have a very difficult
Illegal immigrants cannot vote. They never have, and there's no evidence to that.
job if this is kicked out of reintroducing it into a new bill,
Yes.
especially once things start normalizing.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, the Democratic Party wants to destroy democracy by importing voters, and
if they brought those voters in and those voters told you how they wanted things to run, that would be democracy. He only thinks it's democracy if he gets what he wants. If he loses, it's not democracy anymore. If he gets outvoted, it's not democracy anymore. Elon is pushing a narrative that blue states as takers. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He has no evidence that any of this is real. But let's finish this off, and then we'll cap it off, and we'll announce the winner if you can't already figure out who it is.
the Republican Party disagrees with
And
that.
the ruse is that if you don't accept what they're doing, then you're a threat to democracy,
Yes.
as they try to destroy democracy
Yes.
by importing voters.
That is
and
literally what they're
incentivizing
doing.
people to only vote for them and overwhelming the system.
Yes. And by the way, it's a strategy that, if allowed to work, would work. And
None of this is real, of course. None of that is true. None of it can be corroborated with any evidence, and that is why he belongs on this list. That is why he deserves to be the runner-up for the FIFA Economics Prize. But our winner is obviously the guy who hired Elon and invented the tariff shelf. Let's see him talk about the tariff shelf. I love this one. This is fantastic.
About the tariffs is we'll start paying off that debt. The money coming in, they're finding money in our country now that they never knew existed. The other day, $30 billion. Where did it come from? I said, why don't you check the tariff shelf? They said, sir, that tariff hasn't started yet. It doesn't start till January. I said, no, it started 2 months ago. They called back, sir, you're right, it was from tariffs. No, we have a whole different country. I hope the Supreme Court, I pray that the Supreme Court understands the importance of the sensible, really, I mean, this would be country threatening if something happened with regard to that. You know, the people.
So the tariff shelf, according to him, we're going to have all this extra money to pay off the debt. And then he talked to his nerds. There was some sort of accountants or something like that and said, sir, we don't have any money. Sir, we don't have that money. And he says, check the tariff shelf. And then they went to the tariff shelf and they found $30 billion there. Now, that's clearly stupid and insane. But that's why he wins. That's why nobody else can stand. That's why nobody can defeat him in an argument. He'll just invent shit, you know? Biden couldn't even find the tariff shelf. So obviously our winner for the FIFA economic prize is Donald Trump. Lastly, and certainly least, is the FIFA prize in literature. Now, common sense MAGA morons do not produce a lot of literature. They don't make that much of it. They don't write stuff. They make YouTube videos sometimes. You'll see right-wingers on the TV, or they talk into a camera. They scream about how they feel. They go on Fox News. They tell you what they're feeling. You know, they don't like write it down. So it's difficult to actually find conservative literature. They don't have that much of it. So it's difficult to judge this category. But today we have 2 poems to talk about this year. It's fantastic. So our runner-up is again RFK Jr. and his gross poem he wrote about his pure unvaccinated jizz that he sent to a much younger woman that was not his wife. And so it goes like this. Let's find the poem to read. Here we go. And then we got to do it in the RFK Jr. voice. Your mouth, your open mouth awaiting my harvest. Drink from me, my love. I mean to squeeze your cheeks to force open your mouth. I'll hold your nose as you look up at me to encourage you to swallow. Don't spill a drop. I'm a river, you are my canyon. I mean to flow through you. I mean to subdue and tame you, my love. Oh. I'm okay. I'm all right. It's okay. That was poetry from RFK Jr. to his much younger side piece. He wrote that to her, so that in a sexy way. And that's what it was about. It was about swallowing after a BJ, because that was the poem that he wrote. So that is our runner-up for literature this year. See, he's only the runner-up, obviously. And I think you're going to understand that the winner of this year's 2025 prize in literature obviously goes to Donald Trump for his weird, secret, sexual pedo poem that he wrote to Jeffrey Epstein. Obviously. So let's read that. There it is. You've seen it. You know it. The voiceover says, "There must be more to life than having everything." Donald says, "Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is." Jeffrey says, "Nor will I, since I also know what it is." Donald says, "We have a certain thing in common, Jeffrey." Jeffrey says, "Yes, we do, come to think of it." Donald says, "Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that?" Jeffrey says, "As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you." Donald says, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Donald Trump, pubes. Now, this is gorgeous, pure poetry. It really is. This is just delightful. That is exactly what we're looking for when we look for the FIFA prize in literature. complicated, secret, filled with feelings and emotions, you know. And there it is, folks. The FIFA prizes handed out to exactly everyone who deserves them. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments. Go on over to the YouTube page. When I turn this into a YouTube video, it'll probably post up on Tuesday morning or something like that, because I got to edit it, and I'll put some stuff in it. And like and share and subscribe the video, all that jazz. Go on over to the Discord and tell me who should have won or who should have been considered for the FIFA prizes. That is it for me tonight. I appreciate you being here, Phil Collier. I hope you had a good time. I wanted to turn this silly thing that happened into a bunch of silly things that I could talk about and make jokes about. So if you're not too grossed out, I saved the grossest one for the end. So now you have to know about it. So you're welcome. And I'm sorry, but being realistic is requires you to be somewhat masochistic. So if you want to be real, you have to be a masochist. That's all there is to it. So you now have to know about RFK Jr.'s unvaxxed jizz. So now you have to know about that. So that is it for me today. I appreciate it. I will be back on Wednesday night at the normal time, Wednesday night. Catch you later, Philip. Thank you. And I will be back on Wednesday at the normal time for a normal politics stream. So hop on over there, and that is it for me. I will be back unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to the gulag. Good night.